Good morning, everyone. Very warm welcome to 576th sessions of Empowering Morning Conversations. Yeah, sir is traveling. Sir is not available today. Our one of the special EMC member, Indu ma'am, is going to handle the sessions. Yes, over to you, Indu ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Shakti, first of all, for inviting and coordinating this session for all of us. And a happy and a warm welcome to all of our friends who have joined us this morning. It's always a pleasure connecting with all of you, especially on this platform as well. So I'm sure some of our friends are just about to be joining us. So we'll get started meanwhile. I'm sure all of us can relate to our school days, isn't it? They used to be, gone are the days of those blackboards, but school meant classrooms mostly, and classrooms meant those blackboards for us, isn't it? So every day it had so much of learnings, filled with learnings, right? So many teachers, so many different subjects, and there were lots of writings, particularly, isn't it, on the blackboard. And at the end of the day, you'll know from that topmost left corner till the right hand side end, there would be lots of stuff written on that blackboard, right? However important and valuable those learnings are, when we come back the next day, if that board were to be like that, what would be our experience? If the class teacher or other subject teachers were to come back and write on that board, how would it be? Right? So what did we need to do on most of the days? There was somebody like a class rep, class monitor, who would come in the morning, who was in charge of, cleaning the board, the famous duster. Sometimes it would land on students also to call for attention, right? So they would rub that and keep the board clean for that next teacher to come in and, invite a whole lot of learnings the next day, isn't it? Now, why am I talking about this? As we speak, Children's Day is just around the corner, right? 3-4 days from now. In India, we celebrate Children's Day. So what is it that we carry within us even to this date? However old we may be biologically, there is this child in us, isn't it? Waiting to learn new things every day, waiting for life to happen to us. And some of us create moments that we want in our everyday lives. However, it is very significant for us to empty our learnings of yesterday's and then invite learnings for today, isn't it? And this class monitor kinds of helps the process, by keeping the board ready for us every morning. EMC is one such place. If universe, nature, God is that supreme teacher for us, everyday life happens to us. Life gives us so many of those new learnings and experiences. And let's say there is this class monitor. Let's say Suktipak sir plays that vital role for all of us here at EMC. He keeps a board ready, prepares us to be those new slates for life to happen. And today we will be in that space where we can clear out. It can be experiences that came to us in happy, pleasant forms. They can be experiences which were testing, which were a bit of a struggle for us to navigate through. Whatever be the case, let's be grateful for those learnings, keep them aside, and then begin this day with all the new expectations of how the day would go and create some possibilities for us. So we have this wonderful theme. Shiv Prasad's ji's background, reminds us of that. Be cause makes me weak, and me cause makes me strong. So shall we explore what this could mean for each of us? In a word, before we begin, what this means to you right now when you're looking at this, what does it mean to you? Just a word or two from each of you.
if we keep blaming people,
Mhm.
then it's not correct. We can't improve.
You just nailed it, Hasina ji. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Shiprasad ji, you were about to share.
Because is that basically you believe yourself.
Okay. Yes, that I caused this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that point of view. Yes, Shakti, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Whatever it's happening, I'm the one causing it. Whether it's
Brilliant.
good or bad, I'm the one causing it. I'm the root cause, and I need to take a responsibility to change it or
Wonderful.
to keep it.
Wonderful. How does it make you feel when you choose to cause what you want, and then you are fully aware that I have caused it, to own that? How does it feel?
I'm the owner of that. I can handle anything, or I can
Brilliant.
change anything, or I can keep it as per my wish.
Brilliant. So that makes one feel powerful, isn't it?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Brilliant. Wonderful.
Okay.
So I'm so glad each of you are giving me exactly the inputs that will form the theme for what we are going to discuss further. Anyone else would like to share your views right now on what's opening up for you when you're noticing this topic, this title for the day? Keep exploring. See what is coming to you naturally. Yes. Shantiji, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. When I think that I am causing it,
Mhm.
then I have the responsibility and I have the power to change it. If I put
Absolutely.
the blame on others,
Mhm.
I feel powerful. I feel weak that I cannot change things.
Yes. Very true. Very true. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thanks, Shantiji. Brilliant. So let's look at this. I think you guys have got it entirely right. So what can I do? So I think since we have a wonderful audience amongst us who are aware, fully aware, so I'm not going into even elaborately explaining what this could mean. So shall I offer 2 or 3 case studies where this has made it even more stronger for us to obviously see what is possible in a space? Is that okay? Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. One of these clients, okay, father and son duo, okay, uh, for family enrichment counseling, when they come, each one has a certain very strong point of view about a certain scenario. The father says, I treat all of them equally. I have this kind of a equanimous approach to all my children. Okay, so he has 3 sons, but one of the sons who came with a presenting issue, he's biologically in that, or chronologically in that order, the second born. Okay, so he has an elder brother and a younger brother. So this is a man who's about around 35 years, so entirely angry about how the father deals with him. Okay, he says, my father does not care for me enough. There's always been this very impartial kind of a treatment. He's very concerned about what my younger brother is doing, and he has all the time and concern for my elder brother as well, younger and my older brother, but he has a indifference towards me. And I have been a victim all my life, experiencing his indifference. So mind you, friends, this person is a 35-year-old male. Okay, so he has sufficient history and bonding with the father, with his brothers, siblings, and he's carrying years of suffering, right? So they are not seeing eye to eye. So there's so much of conflict, there's so much of contempt. They can't stand each other because son has been accusing father, father has been denying it. So there's a lot of strain in the room, in the air itself, when they are together at dinner table. There are fights wherever they go. There is this cold vibes, cold war that is happening between the father and son. And then when we probed, to cut the long story short, there were different pieces of work that were done, but one particular session, one particular piece of work which happened unfolds like this. Okay, so when we probe, what's it that the father is doing in this process? What is it the son is experiencing in this scenario? The son, like we just put out the presenting issue, he exclaims that father has not loved him enough. The second son has grown up thinking, I am unwanted. I am the second class citizen in my family. My father does not love me enough. Okay. And then every incident that happens in his life, he is gathering evidence to strengthen that point of view, that I am not as loved as my brothers. And something else happens. Let's say there's some, they are discussing about where to go for the weekend or something like that. Opinions are coming over. And then for some reason, there is a certain choice that is made and he feels he is neglected. If there is an exam that is happening, if there is a lot of attention from the father towards all of his son, the second son invariably feels that he's been ignored or neglected, right? He says, my father never sat with me to teach. He had more time to spend with my other brothers. So all of those incidents stacked one on the other over a period of years. Similarly, when they were all making their career choices, okay, which group to take or which college to go into or which business or which job to take, he has strong evidence to prove that his father did not participate much in his choices. He did not support him enough. And whereas he did that hand holding and all of that support, offered all of that support for his other brothers. This is his side of it. Now, when we, probe this issue with the father, what happens when we ask that this is how he feels. The father was shell shocked, to even notice that these are his son's woes. What was the son's need? To have this equal, or rather at least more of time and attention and love and care from the father. But the father was surprised because the son was only emitting these rays of anger towards the father, this animosity and all of that contempt and displeasure was being expressed. But the core issue, his need, was not communicated to the father. So father was experiencing this child as a very rebellious person who was getting very angry and moody by the day and distancing himself from the father. So this is what the father was experiencing, and the father was responding to those emotions and expressions. So this is a son who does not want to listen to him, the son who's fighting his contribution, something like that. So that had caused a rift between the father and. So when we expressed all of this, his father was surprised, and then he broke down. And when he gave his version of the story, that was the first time in years he had even revealed to the son. He said, son, the younger one needed more of my attention because he was fairly smaller. They were 7 years apart. So in his eyes, he needed more of my hand holding and a lot of that grooming support that he needed. So I invariably gave him that. And when it came to your older brother, then he asked, but how come my older brother is even more years older, and how come you still gave him the support? And then he explained, the older brother had some learning difficulties. He had some behavioral issues which needed to be, provided, some needs that needed to be taken care of. He was a slow learner. He was scattered in his, ways of looking at this world. So he needed to be provided a certain extra amount of care and attention, whether it was with his studies or with learning other skills. The father needed to explain it to him a lot more and, needed to give him that stability and moral support for him to cope with life. He said, whereas with you, you were a smart child. You could manage things by yourself. And I never needed to put in that extra effort because you were doing brilliantly well in all areas of your life, whether it was sports, whether it was your academics, whether it was, making other choices, mingling with friends. You were there doing it very well, performing very well for yourself independently. I was very happy and proud of you. So you were, and you continue to be this model child in my eyes. And therefore, I did not feel the need to sit you down and, give you those extra hours. However, I realized that it has caused you pain, and he apologized. And years of suffering in front of my eyes just vanished. And the son also broke down because he never saw this point of view of the father. He thought the father did not care enough, therefore he did not, spend enough time with him. But now, for the first time in years, he's becoming present to a whole different point of view. The father cared enough and he trusted him with his abilities, skills, and knowledge to do well by himself. He said, I trusted your choice, the college that you would go to. You were a smart kid. I knew the choices that you would make in your career with your business are the best ones that you would make. So I did not have to worry about you. I had immense love and trust and faith in what you were becoming in front of my eyes. Therefore, I did not have to interfere much. What's opening up for you? Points of view?
I have a similar issue happening in my own life.
Mhm, mhm,
My younger son always felt that I didn't love him.
mhm, mhm,
And so once when he was coming home,
mhm,
when my elder son was going to office, he was wearing his shoes and his shoe came on the carpet.
mhm,
So I told him, be careful, see your shoes coming on the carpet, take care.
mhm,
So my younger son said, if I had to do that, you would have told me, you have no sense in your head. Can't you see? This is the reaction you would have given me. And I agreed with him. I'm not denying. I agreed with him. And I said, then we sat at night and we were talking, why do I behave the way I behave with him?
mhm.
So then I said, see, the elder one just listen to everything I said. So
Okay.
he never gave me trouble. So
Mhm.
whenever you did anything, I only reacted wrongly.
Okay.
This was my answer to why I behaved the way I did. At this juncture, we are not on talking terms because he really feels it so strong in him that I don't love him.
I get that. I get that.
That's all I have to say.
I understand, Hasina ji. Now that there is something cleared inside of you, I'm sure he's going to get it too. It's only a matter of time.
No, but
Sooner or
this
later,
is
he'll
years
get that.
back. This
We
has happened
understand.
years back.
We understand. But when the shift happens within us, we can expect to see the shift in our outside world as well. So my prayers and wishes, you will get it soon.
Thank you.
God bless you. Thank you for sharing. Yes. So this could be possible because we operate from our frame of reference
Yes, yes.
and the other person comes entirely from what is visible to them. What is it
Right.
that makes sense to them? So
Correct.
their point of view. Yeah. So this is what we are about to also look into as how can we break free if we find ourselves trapped in anything that is not working for us or that is causing us worry, botheration in some way. What is the way out is our natural question, right? What can we create for ourselves to move away from this darkness? So when we stick on to because, then we have all sorts of justifications coming from our point of view, right? This is why this happened, therefore I had to do it, or this is all I knew. Then we settle down with reasons, right?
Right, right.
And when I am, however genuine or however befitting a justification can be, a reason puts me in a state of status quo. This is how I am because therefore, so because there is this cause and this effect. This is so because of this, and therefore I remain like this.
Right, right.
I do not move forward or I do not do anything differently. It continues to keep me in my default mode, as we all are familiar with here in AMC. It keeps us going in our default mode. However, if I change my frame of reference, and like most of you in the beginning of the session pointed out very clearly, if I understand that I am the cause in this matter, me cause, right? I have caused it in some way. It's not
Mhm.
because he understood that way, or this is all I could do. But however, this is what I did, and this is what the effect has
result.
been. Yes.
Right.
So when I move to that space of I have caused it,
Mm.
then it no, like I think you also said in different words, of course, that when I, and Shakti also mentioned, I said, when I say I have caused it, then I can also make a powerful recreation of that. If I have caused this situation, then I can also cause the situation that is favorable or that is desired.
You know, I tried that. I have tried that a lot, knowing my mistake.
I get that. I'm
It
just saying
hasn't worked.
what
Okay.
keeps
Right.
what keeps us going for an empowering context.
That's
What makes
true.
you feel powerful to
Right.
understand that I cannot do anything about it.
Hmm.
Like you're saying, right now, let's inquire into this. I have tried, I cannot do anything about it. Does it make you feel powerful? Is it problem solving for you? A space?
No, the little guilt.
Yes. So guilt, shame, blame, all of that comes with the because.
Right.
And if I choose to believe that I still can cause what needs to be, manifested in that area,
Hmm,
whatever
hmm,
I need,
hmm.
how does that make you feel? I can cause it. I can create, every day you're here creating different possibilities, right? So if you choose to take that context that I can create this, then how does that make you feel?
I feel now it's a hopeless case.
This one, yes, because that's the dialogue inside your head. You're feeding that,
Right.
isn't it? So that's what is growing. So every day
Hmm.
when you keep uttering, this is a hopeless case, this is, I'm done and dusted with this, I can no longer do anything about
Right.
it. When you are replaying constantly
Right.
that is
Mhm.
what you are feeding,
Right.
and that is keeping you as your reality,
Right.
right? So let's
Mhm.
look at it. We'll move forward. We'll just see
Okay.
which
Okay.
is a more empowering context for us. And one of
Okay.
you also mentioned, keep what works for you and drop, I think Shakti said, and drop what is not working for me at this point,
Hmm.
right? So let's drop that point of view. Will you at
Okay.
least draw? Are you willing to look at another point of view at least?
Very much.
Let's stay with that. That is brilliant for now. We'll see what's opening up. However, let's begin with that shift in that point of view for now as a first step forward, right?
Uh,
Okay,
I didn't get
thank
that.
you. I said the first step towards it is shift in
Okay.
our point of view that we can
Okay.
change this.
Okay. Okay. I got it.
Or rather, I am willing to change this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
replace your dialogue with I am willing to change this.
Okay.
That's all. What
Hmm.
change comes, then that's a different whole lot of work that we may want to do in that direction.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Hasinaji.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Now with the father and son, when they got each other's points of view, so he moved away from because my father did not care for me enough. Father did not do this for me. When he was in that blame mode, there was nothing that he could do. And when the father was also in that mode of son, he doesn't care enough, or he's now coming to his own, he's becoming more arrogant, right? So when he had all of those points of views around the son, nothing was possible between the two of them, right? And then when they moved to a space was I caused this, I could have asked my father at that point itself, right? For more time, for more love. I could have had this open conversation with him long enough. Then some things could have shifted. What has happened, what has become possible for them now, 18 years from then, would have happened back then. Could have happened differently, but it would have happened still. So when they took charge, again, the father apologized to the son that I have caused so much worry in you, put you in these anxious states for so many years because I did not see this coming. So when they acknowledged, the rest of their lives, they set it on a different note because they took charge of it. So now quickly moving on to another case study, and then we will wrap it up with what's possible for each of us. Right? Another instance where a mother would bang on the door of her daughter, a 28-year-old daughter, every day, 56 years old woman who bangs loudly on the door because she's visibly upset with the daughter because she's very well educated, had a good career going for her, suddenly decides to switch her career, but not doing very well for different reasons in that space. So she's kind of taking her time to, set things into routine in that transitions state. But the mother is worried for her that you are this old and you need to settle down, you need to get married, and career is important part of that process in her own understanding. And every day morning, the mother builds up anxiety, the daughter is not doing very well for herself, what will happen to her? With all of that anxiety, she goes and goes and bangs on the door. And then the mother says that the daughter doesn't care. Again, these are both clients, okay? So when they come for counseling, the points of views, the mother bursts with anger that she's this old and has no discipline, no routine, no consistency, and so much so that I have all provided for all the facilities. She wouldn't open the door for even the domestic help or someone to clean her own room. She doesn't open the room, remains locked. She doesn't show up for breakfast till late 11 a.m. and she doesn't show up for lunch in time, doesn't show up for dinner in time. It's way past dinner time when she comes to the dinner table to have dinner. So these are her woes. And when I check with the daughter, look at her view, she says, Mom, the moment I open the door, even when I'm about to open my eyes for the day, I have already heard I wake up to even the previous night, I do a whole lot of work. We have affirmations, visualization, everything that we do even in the sessions. She says, I am resolved to be a new person in the morning. I want to be able to create different possibilities. When I'm having those thoughts in my mind, the first thing, even before I jump out of bed, I hear these thunderous, bangings on my door, which puts me in a state of fear and keeps me in my default mode, because that brings out all that resistance in me. When I hear that, I am reacting to that. I'm angry, I'm upset, I'm going through shame, guilt, all of that when she comes and bangs on my door like this. The mother's angry because daughter's not waking up and daughter's not getting out of the bed because she's already scared, consumed with fear, guilt, shame, everything when the mother does that. So, stimulus, and then there's trigger. So when this happens, she reacts to that. Mother's loving the child and wants good for her. The daughter's unable to see that, the core. And mother is not able to see that the daughter also is wanting to, settle down and make life happen. But she doesn't get it because she's seeing the daughter in default mode, and the mother sees the daughter. Daughter sees a mother also in default mode. And she says, why wouldn't you open the door in the morning? She says, the first thing I hear, my mother calling all her friends and relatives and saying, this is what this girl does, not going for her work, she's not got her job, she's being lazy, she's being inactive, inertia, lazy, yeah, for calling all sorts of names. I don't want to show up to this world. I'm so embarrassed. And she says, why? Okay, now she has this help. Why don't you take help to clean your room? That's her. She says, she speaks so lowly of me in front of all these domestic helps and all of that. And they are witness to all these complaints from her. I feel so embarrassed that I can't show my face to these women who come to help. So I shut myself inside. Now, mother's saying this girl is so arrogant. She's not even allowing the maids to clean the room. That arrogant and that lazy. But this girl is crying inside. She's saying, I'm so ashamed to even show my face to them because mothers filled them with all of these views about me. Are you getting how points of view can play? So because you are lazy, you are inactive, you are lethargic, you are not doing this, is mother's voice. You don't care, you are arrogant, you're not understanding, you are blaming, is a daughter's view. It keeps them in default mode, keeps them at loggerheads, warring. There's no peace in the house. They can't eat a single meal together in peace and harmony. Nothing happens in joy or ease in their house. And when they start seeing this point of view that mother actually wants her to get married, have a successful career going for her, it's from the space of care and love that this is happening. But she's reacting in the way she knows best. And daughter is doing this out of fear, out of shame. And when they get each other's points of view, they understand that they are causing it. Mother got the me cause. I am inducing fear in her first thing in the morning. Therefore, I need to change my ways. So when she started getting calmer and giving her, that's more moral support, then the daughter started showing up. When the daughter started taking the me cousin point of view, that I am doing this repeatedly, therefore my mother is getting worked up and agitated and she's responding to that. Okay, let me make those shifts. Let me at least show up however I'm feeling. Let me at least be there at the dinner table, at least do whatever I can to begin with, babies. So as long as they were, pointing hands to tumhe mein game to chalta rehta tha in their house, that you do this, you do that, you do this. So that because you do that kept them weak, powerless, and wrecked literally as a family. They were operating as disjoined islands. That when they shifted to me cause, that I caused the situation, that's when they took responsibility that I am causing something here. And when they started taking responsibility, it moved to a state of onus. I own this. I do this. I create this nuisance. I create this response in that other person of anger, of indifference. Then I can create a response of love. Then they started taking actions in alignment with what they want, and things shifted. Right? So when you take responsibility, that's when you take actions, right? So for anything to change, I need to own it, that I did it. And when I take responsibility, I move to a space of reclaiming my power. I feel powerless when I give the power to the other person. You do this. People think they feel okay by, blaming. But when I blame, the internal mechanism is I feel powerless. Everything is you. You have caused it. You made this. You made me upset. You made me angry. You have made me weak. Then when I shift it outside, I become powerless, because as if I'm just a mute spectator. I didn't do anything. But even if it hurts initially, I have caused you to do this, or I have brought upon this woe. If I'm choosing, acknowledging that I have caused it, then I understand that I am party to it. I have created this. When I have created it, I can recreate it in the way I want. It may take time. It may take a whole lot of efforts, but it is doable because I am creating. I am the cause here in the matter. That makes me feel powerful. So friends, it's your choice today in EMC and carrying it back to your life in all other areas, whether you want to feel weak, powerless, because somebody does something or life does something to you, or you want to acknowledge that you have caused it and then reclaim your power. So it comes with a shift in frame of reference. In NLP as well, we call it reframing, a powerful template to look at everything from different points of view. And in EMC, we are looking at how we hold on to our points of view. And when we release that grip on one particular point of view, we are in allowance to look at the other person's point of view. And then we can have a space where we can powerfully co-create whatever we want. Like many of you would say, I am willing to loosen or shift my point of view, but that doesn't change anything. That's when you want to make something else happen where somebody else is involved, you need to enroll the other person. That's the missing bit. Constantly, repeatedly enroll that person and then bring them also to a space where you can both together co-create whatever you want. Right? On that note, I will want to wrap up our session and then I will hand it over to our hostess. Yes, Shakti, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Amazing session, ma'am. Thank you so much. Ma'am, actually, those kind of situations, one of the powerful.
Yeah, are you there, Shakti? Okay. Go on.
Yes, Shakti.
Able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, sir. In those kind of situations, instead of reacting it, okay, we can ask one of the powerful access consciousness to who does this belongs to? Because sometimes we unnecessarily handling those emotions, we are reacting it. Okay, we can ask this, who does this belongs to? Okay, if you are feeling light, it's not belongs to you. You can send to the center. It's access consciousness attached. then you can, whatever the emotions you are holding it, you can handle that, the remaining emotions.
Yeah.
Believe that.
Yes. So there is space for every tool, every learning, how we, incorporate all of them or some of them, pick and choose. So whatever is empowering us, keep it. Whatever is robbing us of our power, drop it. That's the simplest one. Anything that works for you, keep doing more of it. Build on your strengths. Anything that is making you weak, keep eliminating those from your life. Yes, Shiv Prasad ji, please go ahead.
But I feel most of the time we don't even communicate with the other person what exactly you want, you wish.
Yes. And what is the process behind when we do not communicate? What is it that you tell yourself? Like, deal with any issue. If you're not if you're stopping yourself from communicating, if you examine, you would have already attributed, this is happening because he or she is doing that. This is happening because I don't have the capacity to make this happen. We have given, because we have attributed a very justifying reason for it, because.
True.
That's the shift we are even looking at today. Yes, because keeps me in default. So I break free from that justification, loosen that point of view. No, I'm making that point of view so significant. This is so because this has happened, or because this is like this, because she's like that, because I am like this, because life is like this, unfair. Some belief system there, right? So what is a belief? When you have different thoughts, when you're holding on to it, it becomes a belief after a point of time. So if we just release that strong attachment that we have, significant, then the belief loosens, then you can create whatever you want in that space. An alternative belief. No, so far it was like that. I can create something different. Then that's enabling for us. Yes, Ramaji, is there something? Shiv Prasad ji, is that answering?
Yes, madam. Empowering.
Thank you. Ramaji, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Indiji. It's great. Both the case studies absolutely very relevant, and most of us experience all those things. So my point is exactly like what Reddy Garu said. That I know that that it has. I understand to a major extent what's going on, but the problem is in communication, right? But yeah, I think you clarified that either you blame the other person, attribute everything to the other person. In my case, that is not true. But still, even though I know it is not other person, but still I hesitate to communicate. So that is something I need to really explore.
Yeah. Maybe there's, if I'm just sharing, see if it is suiting your issue. Maybe I'm not blaming. So maybe that because you are doing is not there because of your awareness and other things. Examine what else is the because there that you're at. Because okay, things will be like this. Maybe I'm normalizing. In everybody's family, things will be like this. All people are like this at some points. Some areas of my life is working. Some areas will be like this only. If there is some other reason that you have given to justify that situation, it will keep it like that also.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I give is, okay, if I start communicating, maybe that person is going to get in what to
upset.
say. Upset or not do what she or he is already doing.
Yes.
So let me change myself to the extent possible, and let me not disturb or come in and make more issues.
Yes. Yes. So the because could be because this will create a greater issue, or because it may disrupt what is already there also. Some kind of a justification to that. So they may not blame, but maybe there is some other justification because attribution.
Yeah, but intellectually I understand that need not be the case. It can be much better actually if you communicate.
Yes.
But that is a block. I need to really explore that.
So maybe that one step forward could be that altering of that point of view, that maybe I will work myself, through myself to get to a state where I will understand, or I will go. If you make some fine tuning there, maybe I will create a state where we will, whatever you want, desirable outcome. Maybe if I put in these things, that will happen. So you don't have to give up on that ideal situation. Keep that as your frame of reference, and then take actions in alignment with that reference, with that outcome, instead of giving up. The because is making you resigned. I have resigned this thing, so I will do something else. So instead of this or that, maybe something else which is in between, something else which is better.
One more fear is this, that no, the mother-daughter example you have given,
Mhm.
right? So if I start communicating, maybe I will blurt out and hurt.
Mm. Yeah.
I think that is the fear. That is
Yeah.
one of the fears where rather I keep quiet and let her
Ah.
do what she is
Does.
comfortable, rather than I saying something and by mistake
Mm.
uh, hurt her or
I
tell
get that.
something which she doesn't like. So
I
I
get
think
that.
that is one of the issues.
Yeah. So maybe co-creating the space will be powerful. When you're doing this, this is how I feel. So without the blame, you're doing this will not work. When you're doing this is how I feel. So what can we do differently about it? We'll bring that dialogue. Something else will emerge in that space powerfully for both of you.
Yeah, thank you for
Most
really bringing out these case studies, and very relevant,
Thank you, Ramaji. Mhm.
very very relevant.
Thank you. Good morning, Takuzinji. Please go ahead. You want to share
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Good morning. Yeah, this is a relevant one, as Ramaji said. And what I understood, first thing we should not s- take excuses, but I feel we should accept the reality, or I don't know how we can call that. But
Okay.
there is one thing, the step by step, we are also learning. It's
Yes.
happened with everyone, because they're not aware what's happening with us. And another thing is, the guy, even the children, they are not.
Mhm.
They don't want to think about our frame of reference. It is not their matter. That's the main thing. So, as you said, enrollment is very important.
Mhm.
If otherwise, they will not think about our frame of reference. And if there is a cooperation happen, it will be easy. Otherwise,
Yes.
we are also learning, we are also growing with them, and we are changing our attitude toward the upbringing of the kids. That means
True.
first kid will be always we are learning. We don't know. We are also zero. So, but the
True.
second kid will understand why he is behaving like this. So we
Mhm.
already grown with that stage. So I feel that difference in us and their point of view is entirely not required to mind our own experience or our own life.
Mhm.
So you have to, communicate that in the proper way. I don't know how they will take it.
Ah.
So then it will resolve the issue, and
True.
there will be a reality, and we should not be blamed ourselves because it happened because of us.
True.
Not only us, there is a natural process happening.
Yes.
So that I felt.
Beautiful awareness. Thanks for share. And just another thing that crossed my mind, may I share, when you were talking about children. I do not know if you're joined about at that time when we began the session. We spoke about this blackboard. Like, even if it is very useful information learning that happens in the previous day, we will rub the slate and keep it clean for next day's learning, right? So when you said first child, let's say we are at 0 about how to bring this child up, and second child, you mentioned something, no, that we have already gone through certain things and we know, we are familiar, which is very good. Like, you're not operating from a state of cluelessness, I do not know how to do. However, let's just see this other possibility also. We think that we know it all because we have raised one child, but for that child, it is starting from 0. As a parent to that child, again, I am newborn as a father. So if I keep my template of my older child, and then offer my, support as a parent to this child, maybe this child needs are different. This child's approach to life is different. So I may need to rub this slate constantly now and then again make the new creations on that board for this child separately. Because if I am a father, if I have a 17-year-old daughter, let's say, I am a 17-year-old father for that child. But when I have the second child, a younger one who's 12 years old, to that child, I'm only a 12-year-old father. And the experiences are different as a father. If I want one-stop solution, I am this kind of a father and I will be that same father to all my children. It doesn't work because their experience needs are very unique. So I cater to that child's uniqueness as a father. So I'm just had this thought which I wanted to share.
Yeah, that is very important. Erasing the slide for the next, and
Yes.
give them the space as 0.
Yes. Like, we have different accounts, no, different windows. Chat, if you're chatting, this person's chat will be here, this other person, you have different open windows. Like that, the slate need not even be we can have alternate different templates for different children, right? So maybe that will help. So thank you for considering this.
Yeah, sure, sure.
faculty.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. So thank you, everyone. It's always been a pleasure being here at AMC, and today has been no different in that way. So thanks to each of you for such wonderful participation, like always, and making it so much more powerful, the learnings and sharings. Thank you, Hasina ji, Shiv Prasad ji, everyone else,
Thank you
Venkatesh
so
ji, for
much, ma'am.
participating,
Thank you so
Shanti
much.
ji. My pleasure, Shakti.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good morning,
Thank you so
Major.
much.
Yeah, thank you,
Thanks a
Indu.
lot.
Power
Thank you
pack
so much.
session, lot of interaction, to touch a lot of gray areas also. And what lent way to the session is the way you've been able to make it so simple without any jargon. You've been able to cut free from the jargons and make it as simple as possible.
Thank you, Major, for
Excellent
noticing
session.
and for
Thank you,
sharing
Mahendra.
also.
It's an amazing session.
Thank you, Shanti ji, for sharing that. Yes.
Thank you so much. I've learned a lot.
I'm so glad, Hasina ji, with each of your contribution, it just made it so much more clearer for all of us as we moved forward. Thank you.
So it's like, no, you came and, watched all of us, many of us. And saying that.
I
It is really
understand.
a moving session. Rama is moving, Shakti is moving,
Oh,
everybody
yes.
is moving.
Quite literally. Yes. 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 Yes, Shakti. Thank you. So I know Shakti is also having commitments, and so do all of you. So wishing you
Thank
all
you, ma'am. Thank you,
powerfully
ma'am.
entering into your lives.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, ma'am. It was amazing session, ma'am. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, Shakti.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Hasina ji,
If
for
no other
having
questions,
enlivened
we
the
can wrap up
proceedings.
the sessions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
All
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye. See you all.